So Molly knows that I'm a TCU student. I went to LaTanya's negotiations workshop, and I can do this. Okay? So Molly, because she's a master at negotiating, she said, okay, I'm going to counter this offer. Yes?
So, I know you're gonna work through this, but if their first offer is that, if your counter offer is more, what if they just say no, they say?
What was that principle, that second, or the third principle? No, I'm sorry, the second one.
Negotiate unless you have an offer, or you can walk away.
Absolutely. Okay, let's go back a little bit. With Molly, so she kind of told us 40 to 45, but I told her to ask that she needs to be trying to get 70. So when she got offered 50, she might say, you know what, that's pretty good. So she might not feel the need to really push the bar much higher. Okay, this is all, I mean, these are great techniques to have, but at the end of the day, you needed to have a budget already made up. You need to determine how much money you need to make. You need to determine how much it's going to help you to see a return on your investment. I don't know if any of you have student loans, you borrow money from parents, you have car notes, you have rent, you have all these expenses. If you haven't created a budget for yourself, then you can't possibly negotiate because you have no idea what you need to make. So there's what you need to make, and then there's what you want to make. And what you want to make should be based on things that you can actually learn from your career center staff. Things like what's fair in this position, what about this geography, what do people in this role make in DFW versus somebody in Boston. What somebody with the types of internships that I've had at TCU, what can they expect to make? So all of those things can add to that what you want to make. What you need to make, that's something that you need to be working on. Have any of you done that, by the way, created a budget to figure out? Okay. All right. Okay.
I just graduated in December. Can I still go to career services?
Absolutely. I'm looking back at Meg, so I don't want to speak for them, but absolutely. You being an alum of the university, I don't believe you have any cutoff date. So you can come back here when you're 50. We probably won't be here, but somebody will. But yeah, absolutely. Okay, so going back to you, Molly, with your offer. Okay, so as you can see, your goal here is to get into the middle ground. Okay, so you're going to have to look at a range. And it goes back to the gentleman's question in the back about putting in a figure. Never give them a figure. You give a range. And your range should really be something that you're comfortable either at the low end or obviously at the high end. Okay? So if you want to make 50, then your range should not be 35 to 50. Your range should be like maybe 48-ish to maybe 60. Okay? All right. So negotiations, it's about marching to the middle. Okay, you got the employer on the one end, they have X number of dollars for this position. Obviously, they don't want to give you all of that. And then you're at this other end, you want to make this certain amount. Okay, so both of you, as you're negotiating, you're working towards middle ground. Hopefully, that middle ground will be closer to your end of the spectrum than theirs. Okay? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Offered you 50 and you're considering 70, what would be an appropriate counter offer?
Okay, so that's a good point. So you get an offer, and actually one of the handouts that you're going to get, or it's not, we don't have one for you, but you'll see it on the screen after I get to the last slide. But I actually provided you with a formal job offer. Okay, so when you get the offer, and this offer here is for $43,500. Okay. And let's say you do want to make 50. They offered you $43,500. So you basically are going to, respond to the offer once you receive it. And I'll pass it around so you guys can kind of start skimming through it. You're going to want to respond to the offer, let them know you got the offer, appreciate it, you're ecstatic. This is your employer of choice. I'll get to you in just a second.
Oh, I was just gonna say,
Oh, okay. You'll take the $43,500?
I'll be in negotiation.
Okay, and just keep in mind though, when promotions come along, it's gonna be more difficult for you to
I
negotiate.
just go get a different job. You're doing contracts, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's what a job offer is, it's a contract.
I can work for me.
Okay. That's why you have career center staff, they can help educate you. Okay, let me go back to your question. So again, you get this job offer and it's not the money that you want. So what you want to make sure that you do is after you receive it, you reach out to the HR person or the hiring manager and you tell them that you appreciate the offer and who would be the appropriate person for you to talk to negotiate the terms of the offer. Because there could be some other things built in there that you want to negotiate, vacation pay, company car, relocation expenses, it would be a host of things that might be negotiable. So once you establish who that person is, and once you establish a time that you can have that conversation, then what you need to do is be prepared to tell them, okay, now I gotta tell them what my number is, okay? So now's when you say, based on all my research, based on my background, my skills, my experiences, and based on the fair market value for this position, my desired salary was 50. Okay, so now they have your counter offer. So it just is basically, after you get the offer, that's when you kind of reveal what you're wanting to make, okay? But 50 might be higher than what you really want to make. So 43.5, say 45 is what you want to come out with, so you tell them 50. Okay, you always want to give a little bit more, because if you tell them exactly what you want to make, they're not going to offer you that. So you always ask for more. Does that help you? You give them, you have to know your number, but then you always ask for more than that, because they're not going to give you, no one's going to give you exactly what you asked for. Now, I do have a couple students that they actually got what they asked for, and then they were ticked off that they didn't ask for more. It's hard to say how much more, because I don't know what industries, what companies, what you're worth. So you have to, that's where the coaching comes into play, because for everybody it's different. So I'm just trying to keep it really broad here. But for some industries and some companies, for you to ask for $50,000 might be very disrespectful for a certain job. And so you're probably not going to know that, but your career center staff probably would know. So we have a lot of data that we keep so that we can educate you, but it really is an individual conversation, because without knowing you and your background, I wouldn't be able to help you to determine how much you should ask for.